Well, here I am again. Everybody's asleep, so I'm in a dusty old basement again. So I can tell you guys what's been on my thoughts, and this is interesting. I've been watching a lot of YouTube basketball videos, and I am not someone that knows that much about sports. I've always loved sports. I never got into them as much as I wanted to, but I've always been fascinated by Michael Jordan, arguably considered by more than half of people who follow anything about basketball to be one of, or more likely, the greatest player to ever play the game. And there's a handful of 3 to 5 other players that some people argue are at his level or greater for one statistic or another statistic or whatever. And again, I'm not the expert on that, but even if you don't like basketball, even if you really think you have no interest, just go watch some highlight videos of just a few seconds of his greatest moments and just watch how he moves and look at his face. And you see a human being who, in my opinion, what I find, because I don't follow all the stats and I don't know all the games and I couldn't tell you this encyclopedic information that some of these other people can who really follow everything. I just look at the guy, and unlike any other player, there's something that just tells me he is not playing under pressure. Every other player, there's this intense pressure every moment to hone their skill to the very thinnest margin of the best they can do in every situation, with the position they have, with the obstacles they have, with the players they're against, when they're practicing, perfecting some of their moves and their shots, and trying to get their stats just a little bit higher to try to break out and become one of those household names, who will go down in history. And this incredible intensity, and there's a love of the game. Of course, you have to love it to get to that level, but this love is mixed with this pressure and intensity. And when I look at Michael Jordan play, I don't see that. I see a big kid who is absolutely having the time of his life. He's literally climbing a jungle gym and just jumping from bar to bar, like just enjoying every movement, enjoying the fluidity of it, enjoying getting around his opponents. Like, it is the most exciting video game. Like, he's just sitting in his living room doing his favorite thing in the entire world without a care in the world. And something else that sticks out to me about him, and I think this goes along with it, is that he's one of the few players ever to try to play another major league sport right in the middle of at the height of his career. For a lot of, depending on the sport, basically there's like 20 good playing years that most highest level sports that an athlete can be at the prime of their youth, mixed with their strength, mixed with their wisdom, where everything works out. And of those 20 years, there's about 10 years in the middle where it's like the very height. And at the very height of his career, arguably, he quit twice. And once he quit to play a completely different sport that I don't even know if he had any experience at all, aside from maybe playing as a kid in like maybe much smaller leagues like decades earlier, maybe playing with friends at, for fun when he was during the off season or something. But he just jumped in this totally different sport, and he didn't do that well. He got into the minor leagues of baseball, which is not even the major leagues, not even the leagues that count. People make their careers in the minor leagues, but they never reach the status of a household name or anything, And he wasn't even doing that great, and I don't even know if they let him in just because he was Michael Jordan, or if he really had some strong stats to show. I have no idea how good he was, but basically, he, after trying that out, some things happened, and he decided to go back to basketball, I think after about a year or two, and he came back as strong as ever in basketball after taking like a year or two off to try to play baseball. What that tells me is, while every other player, or almost every other player in basketball, was trying to be the best basketball player they could be, Michael Jordan said, I am the best. Now, I want to try something else. He looked beyond being the best. He looked past it. That pressure wasn't pushing down on him. He was pushing up straight through the pressure. Everything in his life was pure offense, no defense. He attacked life. He had the most fun. He squeezed the most excitement and fun and winning out of life. And he squeezed as much as he possibly could out of basketball until he was almost bored. He wanted another challenge. So he jumped into a sport that he had no, basis, that, with kids who had been playing since they were 5 years old, all the way up straight through adulthood. And he jumped right in with them. Yeah, of course I can hang with them. He had no doubt. He believed in himself that much. And I think he believed in himself that much because he loved what he did that much. And he loved all the fear out of it. He loved it because he believed in himself. He believed he was a champion, and he cut through all the pressure, and he cut through all of the fear, and he loved dominating every other player. He loved the teamwork. He loved when someone challenged him. Somebody once told him, pick on someone your own size while he was on the court. So immediately the next play, he went right after the tallest player on the opposing team and dunked in his face. And then he was heard saying, is he big enough? Another time, he went to make a free throw, foul shot. And just to show off to somebody else, just to get in his head, he smiled at him and said, this one's for you. Then he closed his eyes and shot it with his eyes closed and made it. People don't do stuff like that when they're that obsessed with their stats and their career goals and everything. This is a guy who is just a huge kid overcoming all of that and just loving life. And I feel like whoever you are, you might start your art thinking this is fun, this is exciting, and then you get halfway into it and you start struggling and judging and worrying that, my piece is not quite right, or or anything you're doing. You might plan a wedding and then obsess over everything that could go wrong and then worry. Everything you put your hand to, we start out with excitement, and then halfway through we get obsessed with fear and paralyzing worry about all the things that could go wrong, or all the things that start to go wrong, and all the things we never thought of. And we get stuck in that point. And I think the key is to push past that, just destroy it. And the way to do that is to just be a little kid and just love what you're doing so much. So here's a thought exercise. Think about the one thing you can do that takes zero pressure, zero stress. You can knock it out 10 times out of 10. And let's say you know your way around the kitchen. What's the easiest dish to make? I don't mean toast, but say an omelet. You could make a real simple cheese omelet every single time, have it come out just right, or pancakes, or maybe a video game that you've been playing forever and you can beat the first level without even thinking, or changing the oil on your car, or doing your taxes. I'm naming things that I have absolutely no confidence in, but go down the line, pick something. Making your grandkid laugh. What is it? What is something you could do 10 times out of 10 and know you could do 10 times out of 10 and not blink and not fear a bit? That's how you need to feel when you're doing a challenge, when you're doing something a little bit tougher and you're getting through it. Monster climb your way through it. And look at some reels of Michael Jordan. Watch his arms, his legs. Watch how he jumps. Watch how he gets around people with the ball. Watch how he doesn't just put it in the basket. He flips it and spins it because he has to get the most possible fun he can get out of it. No fear that that extra amount of fun might risk him missing the shot. He doesn't care. His tongue is hanging out half the time because he's having so much fun. He wants to make silly faces at the audience like a kid. Like, I'm having so much fun. This is crazy. I'm going to make silly faces to show you how goofy I feel because this is hilarious how much better I am than everyone on this court. Dominate your project. Have that much fun. Kill it. Overcome everything you think is going wrong. Instead of being paralyzed when you come up against an obstacle, something's not working right, push it, climb it, jump over it, push through it, push it off the table, knock it over, get over the fear, and have fun. Have fun with your projects. Have fun with your activities. Have fun with your life. I don't care if you're 17 or 21 or 68. I don't care if you think everybody else who does this kind of thing has been doing it for years and you're just starting out so late and, you'll never even get halfway to where these other people are. Don't think about any of that. Only fun. Only fun. Pure fun. Just think about the fun and beat the crap out of every bit of fear. Knock it out of the picture and slam dunk your activity and dunk on it and make a silly face at anything in your brain that might tell you that it's not going to work. Stick your tongue out, make that silly face, and slam it in the basket. You can do it. See you next time.